yo, Bakugo, you gotta take that on the chest. You've gotta take that L right there on that chest. Although you are slightly a little bit pissed off, I can definitely see that with like, especially with your character, as you are there like, what the fuck, I fucking lost this bullshit. So we get to see the aftermath of this episode of My Hero Academia, and what we got to see was Deku, like, after collapsing on the floor, Bakugo going into, I'd like to say close to a nervous breakdown, but near to the way that he's holding, like he's trying to hold it in, and like even with Onmyouji, he's like tapping him on the back, he's saying, you know, like, let's go, it's time for your critique, and like out of everyone, which is so fucking stupid, I'm sorry, like, why, like, in the best person in the match was Ida, and it was because, oh, he was sitting around and he was, you know, observing, you know, the area, and he was pretending, and it's like, Uraraka, she was being too fucking reckless. But I mean, Bakugo, where do we want to go into the entire case of Bakugo blowing up the entire fucking building for a start, where he was going way too crazy, not listening. It obviously had a personal growth, and I'm gonna say, yeah, like Yaojirozu, like Momo, she was just there, like, trying to act like, oh, you know, like, oh, this is what I'm gonna be doing and all that. It's just like, you know, like, I'm the smart girl, I know everything. Like, I was like, oh, come on, girl, like, you have to act like that bitch like that. And it's like, even when you guys see that, it's saying, you know, the same reasons go for, like, Deku as well, as that, you know, he had his own personal agenda. And you're seeing, like, Ida there going, like, smiling. It's like, fuck off, Ida, you didn't do anything. Like, don't act like you're like, I'm so grateful I did stuff. No, it was all Deku. Like, you were there fucking cleaning, alright? You were there with your mop, fucking wiping the windows, going, when I'm cleaning window. No, we ain't having that with that either. Don't get that get to your head. Although I like that All Might was like, holy shit, she said it all. I just did the thumbs up, going, you know, Deku did some good stuff, but you know, good question. And the only reason she's acting all puffy and all like proud, because she's like one of the recommended like freshmen out of everyone. And one thing like I like, because I know a lot of people didn't like what I said about last week's episode of Academia, when I was like criticizing it for stretching out materials, which I will say, this entire episode is a one chapter of the manga, and I'm like, holy shit. When I saw that, like, at first, I literally gagged. I was like, oh, we're not doing One Piece shit here. Although it was a longer chapter, I think it was like about 20 plus pages. So, I mean, alright, I'll give you that in a sense. And it seemed like this is what I meant, where they extended scenes that were really good in like that they did. Like, I really like the Todoroki scene was being extended. I kind of like that scene, although I will say that first as well, his hero design, I'm sorry guys, but that looks fucking terrible. Like, what is with, like, it's just a giant clump of ice I've just shoved onto my face with like a big red evil eye going for that stuff. Although you can clearly see that, you know, like, he's going to be like this true rival to everyone, because he just, since when he was on the hero team, he made sure that his comrade got out when he was going to completely freeze over the building, not hurt like the actual building itself, and he's like, well, there's a like invisible bitch in there, so I'm just going to take care of that, freeze everyone, and say, yo, you want to try that, and like, you want to try and rip your like souls off and all that, you know, go ahead. But I'm pretty sure, like, this is a high outclass match, and it's just like, you had to accept defeat on that case. And like, when you got to see all the other like heroes going around, like, you got to see like all of them having their little scenes, like, that was actually cool, because that was like one panel for like 5 different characters having their moment. I was like, that's an actual cool thing that they did. Like, I actually liked that, you know, they let everyone know about their powers, they showed off all those moments. Like, that's why, like, if you want to do your own scenes, like that was either extending on the animes, like you want to extend on that stuff, like from what the manga originally had, that's completely fine. But the biggest issue with last week's episode, as great as the fucking second half was, is that they kept fucking cutting back and recapping stuff from the episodes that we've already had, and kept going back to the Deku, like, and like Bakugo flashback, which was like, it kind of kept taking out the immersion. And like, I understand if this anime is has to do that, obviously, but it's like, you can clearly see that they don't want to catch up, and they have a goal in mind for where they want to do like the material. But it's like, come on, like, that it just pisses me off like that. And just saying that, it's like, that's an actual critique, like, that's an actual like thing with the material, because I like the manga material, but it's like, you're going into it, it's like, you know, the same thing where I don't watch One Piece anymore because, like, one, it recaps the entire fucking last episode and most of the stuff that's going on for, like, the first 7 minutes. And I know Academia will never get to a state with, like, you know, terrible animation that actually does some real good stuff. I just don't want Academia to end up like that. And that's where you see, like, that's why so many people, like, can't watch the One Piece anime anymore because of that situation. I'll watch it every now and then, but I physically cannot watch those episodes anymore, especially with those slow-ass One Piece chapters that we occasionally get. Although once Deku, like, woke up and he was like, yeah, like, I'm kind of alright, although my arm's a little bit busted. Everyone was brown-nosing that fucking, like, oh yeah, you was really cool, you was doing all that shit, yeah, let's be friends, let's introduce, like, every character, and I'm like, kind of forcing these characters on us at, like, Academia. I'm not gonna lie, it's like, you're just immediately gonna, like, oh yeah, I like all that more. I will say, though, even though, if I didn't know the character from the manga, I will still say, like, out of all of them, I do like the badass Crow motherfucker, I do like Tokuyami, I like edgelords, right? I like characters like that. He's just there, sitting on the chair like, I don't give a fuck. Like, fuck you. Like, give me all this shit about heroes and happy clappy shit. I don't give a crap about that. But I think what was going to matter the most to everyone in the ending of this episode was the moment when Deku confronted Bakugo about the entire situation. And that where, like, Bakugo, like, is in his own rage / knowing that he fucked up. And he admits to Bakugo straight up, it's like, I got this quirk from somebody else. Like, you know, admitting that to him and saying, you know, I can't fully use it, I'm still not able to use it, but it's like, you know, I wanted to try use it, like, win without using it, and it's like, I'm still nowhere strong enough, and it's just like, one day, I'll have it made properly in my own power, and then I'll surpass you with my own power and do this, and just, like, seeing that, like Bakugo just being able to say, like, you know, this borrowed power, like, so what, if it's borrowed power, you beat me, you ass, like that, that's all there is to it, and it's like, and you get a good look at that, like, Ice Guy and all that, like, that right there, he's, you know, that's my fucking rival, and that fucking ponytail bitch really sunk in the end. It's like, god damn it, hey, you too, Deku. And it's like, from that here on out and all that, like, you listening, I'm gonna be #1. I ain't gonna let today, like, fuck with me. And, like, even All Might going out of there and he's like, you know, All Might, get the fuck off me. Like that, even that, let me tell you something, I'm gonna surpass you too, I'm gonna vault over you as top hero. It's like, going for all this, it's like, I don't need this friendship bullshit from this. Like, so, you know, Bakugo kind of coming out there and saying, you know, fuck you, this isn't how it works, alright? You know, like, this is like, I'm my own man. Like, I appreciate he's still keeping to his character. He is saying, oh, fuck you, Deku, I ain't gonna be afraid. Like, fuck out of here, like, all this bullshit. But then, as well, he can look at this and admit, yes, he did fuck up. He did fuck up, and he's going to accept that. And then clearly seeing it right at the end of the chapter, we get to see the villains, and everyone that knows that's like been reading the manga knows exactly where they're going to be ending. And just to say, that was chapter 11 of the manga. Like I said, that was all, this entire episode was a single chapter, and there's a bit of me that goes, oh, like, just like, oh god, no, I ain't having One Piece in here. I ain't having like some Toei, like, one chapter an episode. But then as well, it was an extra, like, you know, it was about like 20 pages, so it's like, but even still, it's just like, oh god, like, I really want, like, something, like, I really hope that, you know, they kind of take this to the second season, like, when they're saying, like, oh, what did people not like in the second half? Because I know a lot of people, you know, they fucking love Academia, and I love it too, but I think a lot of people can agree as well that there are huge pacing issues at certain parts of scenes that you can clearly see when they keep putting recap stuff, and then when they keep, like, putting up the other scenes, and, like, even adding in their own material, which works a lot of the time, you show it's like, we haven't got a lot of material to work with, so let's keep, you know, recapping, or let's keep adding our own parts into it so we don't catch up. But it's like, well, that's what happens when you get an early, like, series like this, when it's, like, not even 100 chapters yet, and you're already, like, adapting it into an anime. And I'm going to say this with, like, any other series. It's not just Academia that I'm saying this to. This is going to be to any other series that does this shit. Not all entirely bad, but yeah, like, that's the reason why. Especially, like, it wasn't as bad as in this episode, but definitely in this last episode, that's where I was like, okay, we've got some problems here. Overall, I really did like this episode. I think this really did give a good cement to like Bakugou as a character kind of growing up a little bit, but then at the same time sticking to his morals where it's the same thing, and we got a kind of the setup for the next arc and knowing exactly where the Academia anime is probably going to be ending off. I'm kind of excited about that, like, but oof, one chapter, no, do not have another one chapter in episode, please. Like, I'm having Vietnam flashbacks of One Piece, like, just don't do that to me, okay, Academia? Overall, I would give this episode an 8 out of 10. I really did think this was a great episode, but then, you know, there was a few hiccups here and there and all that, but I definitely think the best part of this episode probably was, like, actually what they did was adding in fresh new material, giving the other characters time to shine. I thought that was a really nice moment that they did. You know, you think comment section down below, do you think I'm right about the whole situation, like about one chapter? No, like, we ain't having that like that. I still think 2 to 3 is like the most suitable you can have. Even 4, do you want, if there's a lot of dialogue going into it, but then we'll have to wait and see. But that's all from me. Thank you much for watching as always, and I'll see you guys next time.